Here at home, one of New Hanover County's elected leaders is switching political parties. School board member David Perry confirmed to WECT News tonight he has switched from the Republican Party to the Libertarian Party. Perry ran for a seat in the General Assembly as a Libertarian in 2018, but came up short in the general election. He switched to the Republican Party and ran again 2 years later, losing in the primary. He won his seat on the school board as a Republican in 2024.